Hello, welcome back to my series where I'm going through all of my color families of single shadows and swatching them out, making sure that I like all of them, kind of exploring what I have a little bit. So this is kind of like a swatch party, maybe a declutter. I'm not sure how many will be decluttered today, but if any don't live up to the standards of the ones that I really like, then they will be decluttered. Let me show you what we're starting with. I have my blues kind of split up into two palettes. I have like darker shimmers in here, or like medium and dark. And then in here I have my mattes and a lot of light blues and more kind of like purpley blues. So yeah, that's my whole blue color story. If you want to see all of these swatched out on my hands and my arms, then just keep watching. Okay, so here's what we're starting with. I think as per usual, I'm going to start with the mattes, just because I have less of them. We can kind of get them out of the way and then move on to the good stuff. So I really like blue eyeshadow, and as someone who only purchases vegan makeup, it's really hard to find blue eyeshadow. I'd say it's probably the hardest of all colors to find blue eyeshadow. So this collection has really been like curated with love over the years. So I just want to start out by saying that. Let's start with these two mini ones from ColourPop. I was so excited when one of their mini palettes, it was like a pastel palette they came out with in 2020, that it included blues and it was vegan. This shade, though, it's very light, and I've used it a couple times on my inner corner, but I'm not really a matte inner corner person. I'm going to take my hairband off. I'm kind of leaning towards keeping it. Okay, cool. This next one I really like. It's like a little bit of a sequin formula. Like I can see the like micro shimmers on there, which isn't my favorite, but I ignore it because it's like a really pretty blue shade. This one's from the Creepy Cute palette from Shroud Cosmetics or Strobe, whatever they are now. It's a little bit more teal. It doesn't look that great on my finger. Looks a little patchy there. Alright, I'm going to declutter that. I think it's pretty old at this point anyway. This next one is one of my favorites in my whole collection, and probably my favorite matte in my whole collection. It's from Menagerie. It's Cetacean, I think it's pronounced. It's just like the most perfect blue. Oh, I think it's pretty similar to my nails also. And I also really love this nail polish. It's just so nice. The formula is really pigmented. It works well with looks. It works well just like an all-over blue look. I've worn that before. It's so perfect and I love it. These next two are a little bit more purplish. This one's from Terra Moons. It's a shade Atlantis. I'm not sure if it's still available. I'm not the biggest fan of Terra Moons mattes, but like this is so soft. And flaky. It's flaking in the other one too. Really nice color though. Almost kind of gray. This one is from Give Me Glow. It's a shade Wink. This one feels a lot rougher in comparison, but it picks up really nicely. Yeah, they are pretty similar, and I could see myself decluttering one of them in the future if I'm really trying to pare down my collection more, but for today's purposes, I do like both of them, so I'm going to keep both of them. These next two are also from Menagerie. Now, I'll start out by saying with this one, I'm not the biggest fan of blues that have like a little bit of green in them, and that's what I think of this shadow. When I was kind of thinking about my blue collection recently, I was like, oh, I could probably declutter this in that video. But then I was looking at palettes from last year, and I want to do a video where I talk about Jeffree Star makeup, even though I don't purchase from him. And I saw this palette that I think was like in one of his mystery boxes, like the Star Ranch palette or something like that. And it was like a neutral palette that had a blue exactly like this in it. Seeing it in that context looked really pretty, and I was like, I could do that exact palette with this shade. Let me swatch it while I ramble. And by the way, this is called Dive. Yeah, it is a nice quality shadow, and I wonder if the biggest issue I have with it is kind of the pairing of it with these colors, more so than the actual color itself. Because next to browns, it looked so nice, and I definitely want to try looks with this and brown. So yeah, I'm keeping it. And this is my dark blue. This is Breaching from Menagerie. I do also really want kind of like a royal navy version of this. This one's like quite navy. I mean, maybe this is what I want. I feel like I want something brighter than this for my blue eyeshadow wish list. Yeah, I don't use it very much. It is very like deep and pigmented, but I think it is like a useful color. Okay, so these are all the blue mattes. I'm gonna wipe all these off. I probably will end up re-swatching this really light one because I want to compare it to the other shadows from this family that I would use as an inner corner shadow. But yeah, we'll worry about that in a moment. I'll wipe these off now. Okay, onto the shimmers. This first one is from one of those ColourPop pastel palettes. It's like a glitter with like, I think a little bit of blue in it. I don't think this shade particularly has ever excited me that much though. I'm not opposed to glitter, as some people are, but I also, like, it has to be really special for me to reach for it. Oh, that actually does look kind of nice. Okay, I think I want to keep this and do a look of this all over my eyes because this looks really cute. And the glitter is like very fine, so it doesn't make me that nervous about blinding me or anything. Okay, I thought I was going to declutter that one, but I'm keeping it, and that's okay. Next one is one of my favorites. This is Space Baby from Terra Moons. They make such nice iridescent shadows. It has like a perfect blue flip, but even looking at it right now, it looks kind of green also. Never noticed that before. It actually looks really green in the camera. Yeah, this is the right one. I have it in my inner corner though, which you can see in the intro and outro, and it does look blue in my inner corner. So I'm not sure why it's coming up like that, but I really do love that one. It's like the perfect amount of flip, the perfect sparkle, really pretty. Okay, we'll do this one next since I just stabbed my finger into it. This is a Luxie shadow. It's the shade Chili. I think this was with that like holiday-ish collection they had in, I think 2020. Some of these shades I really like using for my inner corner. Yeah, I feel like it has some shine. I wouldn't describe it as like a super shimmery formula, but it is shimmery enough. And it definitely has some like lavender to it too. Yeah, I think that's pretty. I think I'm gonna have a bunch here that are kind of similar, and I think I'm going to like them all. Just saying. Next, let's go up here. I think this is one of my favorites also. Yeah, this is Adonis from Luxie. I really love using this one on my inner corner a lot. It's like the perfect kind of thickness of the formula. I'm sorry, nothing's focusing. There we go. So pretty. Yeah, I'd say this one has like a little bit more brightness than Chili has. I'm not sure why things are looking so like greenish also, because I never thought of this as looking greenish at all. This is one of my newest ones. This is from my recent Divina purchase. It's in their Candy Carnival collection, I think. It's called Rain Tarts. It's kind of like a bluish with a lavender twist also. It looks very pink in person to me also. Pretty. I think it kind of looks like the more intense version of Chili, but I don't think I'm ready to part with Chili. And then next up we'll do this one. This is Half Moon from Terra Moons. I feel like this is like a tad deeper than the last couple, but still like a light shimmery shadow. Really nice formula on this one. I like when they kind of feel thick when you pick them up, and that's how I feel about this one. And it almost looks a little like teal there too, but I really like it. It's been funny going through my eyeshadows because I'm realizing that a lot of my collection isn't as repetitive as I thought it would be, but I feel like this grouping is particularly repetitive, but like I'm okay with that. This next one's from Menagerie. It's called Snowball. It's a trifoil and I used it today. I bet this one's kind of similar to Half Moon also. I think this one's a little bit more of a true blue than any of these previous ones. Let's swatch this one next. This is Snow Cone from Luxie. I think this is from like that ice cream collection. Ooh, I like the feel of that a lot. And this one looks really duochromatic on my finger. It looks like green and pink. Wow, that looks so green on camera. To me, it really just looks like a pinkish purple reflect. Wow, I can't believe I have all these. Next, let's do this one. This is Screwball from Luxie. This one feels harder in the pan though. You know, I think I am going to declutter this one. It's pretty and it like definitely has that same kind of like pink reflect, but it's just so similar to Chili and Rain Tarts. And I know I'd grab for those over it. Okay, and down here we have Swatch from Divina. This one looks very pink and like kind of tealish blue. Yeah, another one, it looks very similar to my eye, but it is coming up way more blue on camera, which is interesting. I really like the Divina shimmer formula. Oh, and I was going to swatch this light one also next to those other light ones. So this is that matte again. And the question is, would I grab for this matte? I think I'm going to say no to that one. I think I'm showing myself what an abundance of beautiful bluish inner corner shades I have. I love using a shimmer in my inner corner shade, so it would be a stretch anyway to use a matte. and I just don't think that that's gonna happen. So yeah, I'm gonna declutter this one. Okay, so I have to change my memory card and charge my battery. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe these off when I do that, and then we'll come back and do the more kind of medium and deeper blues. Okay, so I did a little redecorating. I stuck all of those light shimmers and a couple of the mattes in this 12 pan so we could just get this out of the way. And then I have the remaining mattes that we already swatched over in this corner, and then all of these shimmers are up for interpretation. Consideration, that's a better word. Okay, let's start with this showstopper that we're gonna kind of get out of the way because, like, we know she's not going anywhere. This is the Cosmos from Terra Moons. This is a shade that doesn't really have a good spot within a specific color family because it's like an unexplainable color, but just in the pan, the base looks blue, so I stuck it with the blues. But let's get a good look at this beauty. She's like white and blue and red and green. It looks bright green on my hand, but it looks more like red on camera. But either way, the formula is so pretty. It's so like explosive and I like it a lot. Okay, next I feel like we're kind of entering, I mean, I was gonna say another color story, but they're all kind of different. This next one is Cold Hearted from Luxie. This is one of their older shadows and it's so good. It feels like a different formula than pretty much every other shadow I know from them because it is kind of like thick and almost gooey. I thought this was a ColourPop shade for so long. I thought this was Heavenly from ColourPop, but I compared them at some point and this one won out. It's just really pretty, really intense. It's not a duochrome or anything, but I really like it. This next one's from JD Glow. It's called Sky, and I'm still kind of like trying to get my footing around it. I really love JD Glow shadows and like I believe in it. And also just looking at it, I like the tone of it a lot. It's a little bit more like dusty and sky blue than my other shades. It's not the most reflective. Like it doesn't really have shimmer. If anything, it just has like micro shimmer. So yeah, this one's still relatively new to my collection. I swatched it in my JD Glow video, but I still am trying to get a feel for it. But because I believe in it so much, I want to figure it out and give it that chance and see how I like to wear it. It also feels like, oh, I wish we could just focus. It also feels like compared to other shadows in my collection, the closest ones I have to this are more purple, and this one's like really not purple. So it's just interesting. Okay, I guess we'll move this way into the kind of more denim-ish shadows. This one I know is kind of sheer, but I really like it. This is ACI 8 from the original Plain Jane palette. They have several shades there that are just so interesting that they're kind of just like sheer, but so reflective and beautiful. It's like really unique. It almost has like a taupe base if anything, and like I really love that. I need to wear this more. But like this is like an all over the shade shimmer. Understated, but in the boldest way. And I really love it. Okay, and then let's do this one next. I know this one's really good. This is Tiny Dancer from Terra Moons. I'm not sure if they still have it. It was probably in the first order that I got from them because I was so excited that they had blues that were vegan. And this one is like really like a denim blue and it's really pretty. I have this on my lower lash line today. I'm sure I'll tell you about that in the intro. I mean the outro. I mean, I know I already did. Yeah, that one's just a really pretty shade and I like it. Almost feels like kind of similar to Cold Hearted, just in the kind of saturation of the pigment. And then this is the other one that I think of as being pretty denim looking. This is Winter Moon from Luxie. This is the shade that if you like showed me a picture and asked if I had it, I'd be like, no. Huh. This one's definitely way more sheer. You know, for some reason it feels tough, but I think I'm going to declutter this. I just can't see a situation where I'd wear it. Because I feel like it's not sparkly enough or interesting enough of a shade that I'd want to wear it all over my eye. And like, if I was going to go in my lower lash line or something, I would use Tiny Dancer. And they look so similar in the pan that I could easily get them confused. So yeah, I'm going to declutter that one. And I'm kind of happy with that because I was scared that we just weren't going to declutter like any of them. Let's do this Cleona one next. This is Abrasion from Cleona. Really gorgeous. Kind of in that denim family, but it also definitely has like some purple base to it. How pretty is that? That's just like its own thing. I almost feel like this Adept one is like the sheer version of that. Maybe I'm making it up, but I just really like them. So pretty. And then this other Cleona one we have right here is Shard. This one's pretty new in my collection. I got it last fall, and I don't really know it that well, but it looks like the kind of formula that I really like. This one's really interesting because it's kind of just like a deeper version of abrasion. It doesn't have the same kind of brightness in its reflect, but I feel like it's really similar in any other way. I actually really want to experiment with those together because I feel like the base is exactly the same, and by pairing them together, I would get a look that's like really dimensional, but also really cohesive. I really want to try that. Okay, so then over here is my little kind of like bright section. Let's start with this one because I know this one's great. This is Crown Jewel from Clionadh. It's one of their vibrant multi-chromes. Really pretty, kind of like a tropical blue, I'd say. And then we have two from Luxie that I have to consider. This one is Alpha. I can't remember what collection this came in, but I think it was a 2021 shade. It definitely looks green and blue and purple on my finger. And it's a lot more sheer than Crown Jewel in the swatch. I'm gonna declutter this one. I think that like going up next to a Clionadh shadow is a tough job for anyone. But it just shows me that I don't need this because if I wanted this type of shade, I could reach for that. And then my next bright one is, oh, Dark Waters. This was one that I got this year, and I know I like this one. This is part of their January 1st release. I can tell also that this, compared to the last one, it has that kind of like thickness to the formula that I know I really enjoy. And the flip of this one goes a little bit deeper and more purple. But yeah, I like this one, and I think it kind of adds dimension also in a way that's not too dark. I wouldn't necessarily add dimension with that Clionadh one. I mean, maybe I would, who knows, there's no rules, but this one I know I would. Okay, and then let's go over to our little family over here that is kind of the ones that are like a little bit more purple or have a lot of pink mixed into them. So this one here, I kind of consider it the shimmer version of Wink that we already swatched. I got them at the same time, and that's what I thought of when buying them. I also kind of feel like this one could pass as the shimmer version, but we'll talk about that one in a minute. So this one is Perry from Give Me Glow. Really nice formula. It looks really purple right now. It looks like it matches the background. That's a nice one. I like it. It's just like a metallic, but it's a really nice metallic. Okay, and then this one is also from Give Me Glow. It's called Glass Slipper. This was one of their glitter toppers that they've released last year, and they're so gorgeous and sparkly and dimensional. This on my finger looks like teal and pink, and I think on camera you could see it too. Wow. It definitely looks bolder to my eye than it does on camera, but it is really pretty, and I feel like when I wear it, it kind of like the blue and the pink average out to look very lavender, and I like that. Okay, let's talk about this Menagerie one next. This was part of their release last spring that I think they were calling multi-chromes. I don't know. It's called Swimmingly, or maybe they're calling them like chameleon shades. They are really pretty. They actually just said recently they're announcing more soon. I wonder if by the time this goes out, I'll know the answer to that. Yeah, this one looks very pinky purple to my eye. It looks very blue on camera. I like it a lot. This is one that I'm wearing in the intro and outro too, for like the inner and outer of my halo eye. And then this next one is a Clionadh shadow. It's just one of their regular circle shadows. It's called Calx, C-A-L-X. This one was in a horrific dropping incident. I mean, not that horrific, but whatever. It got dropped a couple months ago, and you can tell it's kind of loose in the pan. I pressed it back in, and I thought that like it wouldn't really be good anymore, but I swatched it the other day, and it still seems pretty nice. I don't know. It has, like, you could even see right there that it has that pink in the blue, so it's interesting, but it doesn't have that much shimmer. I wanted to compare it to Swimmingly and then decide that Swimmingly was better. But this like shade is just so different. I feel like none of the other, I mean, maybe almost that one. Which one is this one? Oh, this was Dark Waters. I feel like Dark Waters is kind of the closest to it. Let me swatch those two next to each other. Okay, this is Calx and Dark Waters. You know, I'm going to declutter Calx. My reasoning behind that is like, it's not a formula that I like. And I just know with this kind of shade, like, what am I going to do with it? There's like certain things I tend to do with my eyeshadow. And I know I love a good shimmery shadow in the lid. And this is not shimmery enough to be an all over the lid shade. So like, would I really rather use that than use like one of these shimmers that are also pretty? No, I wouldn't. So I'm going to declutter calcs. I'm happy to because I was a little nervous that this would be like a really hard group to declutter, and I do want to narrow down my collection a little bit. So yeah, I'm feeling good about this. So next, let's go into this little quad of my darker shades. This one is from Luxie. It's called Next to You. I got this in their fall release, and I recall liking it. Yeah, I think I like this one. Yeah, I feel like it's just like a unique shade in my collection. It kind of reminds me of like these Cleona ones in a way, but it's more dark. I don't know. Like you can tell it has like a more of a reddish base and a flip on top of it, but it's very grungy. I like this one a lot. This one is Blue Magic from Colored Rain. I've had this for so long, and it doesn't really give me joy looking at it in the pan, but it is kind of like a shade that I like. Like looking at it on my finger, I like that. It's just in the pan, I'm like, oh, that's a really old shade from Colored Rain. And the fact that it's so unique here, I'm gonna keep that one. I wonder also if it's like me only buying certain multi-chromes or if it's brands not coming out with it, but like, why don't I have a shade like this in like a really crazy formula? Maybe it is me, because I feel like Cleona has some of those. This shade I've had for so long. This is a ColourPop shade in the shade Antimatter. And I know that like I think highly of this formula, but I never ever ever reach for it. Like it looks like a kind of like a black with a lot of blue micro sparkle. And it looks pretty, but I've had it for so many years and I never reach for it, and it makes me not excited, and I'm going to declutter it because I never use it. And then the last one we have is this Divina one. This is the shade Magnetosphere. It's one of their multi-chromes. I don't even know what inspired me to get this because I never use it. Maybe this is kind of like the royal blue that I was saying I'm missing. But this formula isn't sparkly. Like it feels very smooth and like it's beautiful. It's transformative. Even looking at it right now, I see like fuchsia and orange and navy, purple, of course. But it doesn't have that like sparkle that I like to wear. But I mean, that is really pretty. Yeah, so I'm keeping that. I didn't even declutter that many, but I feel like this palette looks like really barren and I like it. I wonder if I could fit these back in. Ooh, oh my god. That would have been so bad. I wonder if I could fit those back in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think I can, but whatever, we'll see I'll try anyway. Yeah, whatever, I give up. I feel like there's definitely better ways to like, what's that game where you put all the pieces together? Wow, I'm losing my mind. I feel like there's a better way to do that here, but I'm not doing it, but like, that's okay anyway. Because I don't want this to be super crammed in. I'm not going to keep it as an all blue palette forever. And even my perfect all blue palette would definitely have some browns in it. But yeah, I'm really happy with the ones that I'm keeping. We decluttered 7 of them. And I feel like that's a nice kind of like comfy amount to make my blue collection an assortment of shades that I really like. And here's those swatches one more time to leave you with. Oh yeah. Pretty. Okay, bye. Okay, that was that. Let me tell you what I have on my eyes today. I really like this look. I just put my blush in my crease, and I think it had some yellow eyeshadow on it, so that's what the crease is. The blue matte in my crease is Cetacean from Menagerie, and then I have Swimmingly from Menagerie on the inner and outer of my halo eye. On the inner part of my halo eye, I have Snowball Trifoil. I have Terramoon Space Baby on my inner corner, of course, because I love it. And then on my lower lash line, I have a little bit of Wink from Give Me Glow as a matte, and I have Tiny Dancer from Terramoons as the shimmer down there. And I really like the look. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. I've already filmed so many of these swatch videos and there are still more to come, so stick around, hang out with me, see the rest of my shadows. And just thank you so much for being here today. Bye.